What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Peanut Gallery Podcast, episode 38. Seth, how is it going, man?
It's going. I'm excited for the show. We're going to try to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, we got lots to cover because there's lots of insanity going on in the world right now.
A little bit.
As
how are
usual.
you?
I'm good, man. I'm about ready to start my last semester of school, so...
I don't even know how that feels. I've been out of school so long.
I know, it's been so long since you started your last semester. Like months, I'm talking
literally
now.
Months.
Literally months.
Tens of months, not even tens of months.
Exactly, but no, I'm excited to be done. But yeah, we got a big show planned, guys. We got all the stuff going on with North Korea. Plus, we have a little bit of special treats that we just couldn't leave out because it's just too ridiculous to not mention.
You know, we complain a lot about the news and stuff, but sometimes it's nice that we hear about the stupidity that exists in this world.
Sometimes it's just fun, and you just can't help yourself at all.
One of those weeks.
All this and more, though, guys. You are listening to the Peanut Gallery Podcast. This, of course, is the place that we provide completely unprofessional and insignificant opinions about the most important and significant topics of the day. I'm your host, Jared, and with me, as always, is Seth, and we're going to move right into what was nuts this week. All right, guys, we are back, and one of kind of the biggest stories, one of the bigger things that happened this week is kind of the whole North Korea thing, situations with them kind of escalating. Obviously, North Korea has been threatening the United States for decades.
Pretty much forever.
Yeah, this has been something that's been going on since the end of the Korean War.
And we've been taking it seriously pretty much never.
Yeah, so we have kind of Trump stepped up a little bit and kind of upped the rhetoric here, not upped it from... North Korean's leader, but upped it from America's leader's stance. Basically what he said is he said, quote, North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. And then later on he kind of talked about how it will also be met with power.
I thought it was just a fire and
just
fury.
The fire
I didn't know there was power behind it too.
So like obviously if you know how Trump talks, I don't think he's talking about North Korea is going to be met with a preemptive nuclear strike, right?
No.
He's not saying this, but I think kind of the threat, I was listening to some people talk about this, and I agree, like, the United States people kind of understand Trump's rhetoric a little bit. You know, a lot of people who follow him on Twitter and all this kind of stuff know the way he talks. He just kind of talks outlandishly like this all the time. But foreign policy is affected by the words of the United States president, right? So a lot of people, you know, might not overseas and stuff might not understand the rhetoric here.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying it's bad because I kind of, you know, I think it could have been worded a little bit better. I think North Korea is a huge problem. It has been since the 50s, and I don't think that the United States needs to step down from this petty empire, but I also don't want to start a war with necessarily, like a nuclear war with North Korea. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the problem, right? Because they have nuclear weapons now.
Supposedly,
We assume that they do, although I don't think they have a way to fire them because they keep failing missile tests.
Yeah.
And I meant this quote specifically with Trump. I mean, there was a lot. It came out like a couple days later that it was kind of off the cuff for Trump. It wasn't like a quote he was expecting to make. He kind of just said it, which also kind of exactly. Twitter in real life. Right? But yeah, North Korea is weird because it is such a problem, but no one talks about it. Yeah. And they're constantly, Kim Jong-un is constantly screaming, I feel like, give me attention. And we're just like, nah.
Absolutely.
And then, so like, in the response, North Korea was like, well, screw that. We have 4 missiles we're going to launch at Guam, which is near North Korea. It's a Russian territory. It's a U.S. territory. There's citizens there. We have many people there.
It's a strategic base, too, for the United States.
Lots of bombers there.
That's why it's a territory.
Right.
Yeah,
and so, even after they said that, like, that didn't even get any news runtime in South Korea.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care. They understand that this is all talk, basically. And a lot of people I think that I've heard and that I think is kind of true is like come to the same conclusion that it is just all talk and we're not going to attack them first, obviously. If they attack us, they're not going to. They know that they're going to get destroyed if they attack us.
I hope you're right, man. Yeah.
There's no way that they come out of it winning. Like, there's just no way.
Absolutely.
The damage, we don't know. Yeah. But there's no way, and they want to survive. And at the same time, we don't want to have to deal with having to figure out what to do with a crippled North Korea.
Yeah, absolutely.
A more crippled North Korea.
And really, like, there's no, because the situation that it has with all the people being so indoctrinated, there's no really easy way
there will be
to win that war without massive civilian casualties, both in North Korea and in South Korea, I tend to think.
Yeah, and I mean, Japan's right there as well.
Yeah, they talked about
China
Tokyo.
has even come forward and warned both of the U.S. and the North Korea that to not play with fire and these things are bigger. It's not just to make idle threats is kind of pointless. And actually, I'm on the Chinese side. I think it's dumb to be making threats like we'll be met with fire and fury. Yes, but realistically, come on.
It's kind of better to take not heat up to that rhetoric, right? And just
right now,
the United States doesn't have to do that. We're not on the level. We don't have to scream for attention like North Korea does. And I think that obviously China has played a role in the success of North Korea. They've recently kind of slapped these sanctions on.
There's been heavy sanctions
from the UN. And China and Russia have participated in this. But this is kind of like the first step that they've ever taken. They've kind of funded the North Korean regime for a while.
Just basically not doing anything and just letting them exist. Because I mean, I don't know who wants North Korea. Who profits from North Korea being around?
Yeah, I mean, so this is kind of what I think. I think that the Chinese, maybe the Russians to an extent, but definitely the Chinese like that it ties up so much of our resources and time. We have we have tens of thousands of troops in South Korea, right?
Well,
so that's just an economic burden right there. We have troops in Japan, not necessarily for North Korea, but for just to kind of have troops in that area. We have a lot of troops there. We just sent a whole ballistic defense missile system there that costs a lot of money.
Why are we announcing all this stuff?
Just kind of to say, hey, we're here. Our presence is known. Don't think that you're all high and mighty. We're here. We're going to defend South Korea if anything were to happen. Okay. But a lot of the problems is I think they have thousands of missiles pointed right at Seoul, right? So if any
it's right there, right?
Exactly. And if any kind of attack were to take place, for the United States to succeed without massive casualties, I think there's 25 million people that live in Seoul. That's 35 miles from the 38th parallel,
which is
that
an
divides.
active war zone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, the North Koreans have these missiles underground. A lot of it's really hard to get to. We have some of the best technology and capabilities in the entire world, but to get underground and to hit all of these, even if you hit 95% of them, there's still probably a couple hundred rockets and missiles that are going to be shot into Seoul. It's going to be thousands of dead. So it's a tough situation. There's really no right or easy way to handle the situation, and Trump honestly has been kind of given this situation. The presidents for the past 25, 30 years have completely neglected this.
Well, they've publicly chastised them, been they suck, we're not going to support them or whatever.
Yeah,
but
they haven't done anything about it. The time to act was before North Korea was so close to getting nuclear weapons, because once not a superpower, once a country or nation gets nuclear weapons, it's hard to touch them, right? Because they have nuclear capabilities. You know what I mean?
Which we don't know for sure, right?
No, we don't know. We don't know for sure. And our intel in North Korea is super sketchy because it's very hard to get reliable intel from North Korea. But, obviously they've announced it, and I think, there's some intel that has said that they're close to it within years of getting it.
So why don't we strike now?
That's what I'm saying.
That's hard, man.
But it's hard.
I'm glad I am not in those
I
conversations.
know. It's almost like a no-win situation because this really has gone all the way back to, almost even Eisenhower back in the 50s. MacArthur wanted to invade right after World War II, but Truman said no. So I mean, it's been history in the making, right? It's been a long process, and there really is no easy answer here on what to do, just because of South Korea is right there. They could get attacked, even like you said, Tokyo is near. I mean, they shoot a ICBM into Tokyo, a couple 100 of those. You're talking about,
and they're new missiles. So there's missiles that they can fly through. They're just to the air or whatever. Yeah. But then there's missiles that can go outside of the atmosphere and then come back in, and then that extends the range or whatever. Yeah. And so that's what they've actually been testing more often. And so if they were able to, we don't know exactly how capable their missiles are exactly, but if they have mastered that or figured that out, then we become in range. California becomes in play. The missile could reach it. You know, I would tend to think that our defenses would hold up against it. You know. But yeah, it's a catch-22 because we don't want to deal with having to go through North Korea, like you said, massive casualties on both sides. There's no way they don't affect South Korea, probably Japan, I would say. Yeah. And then who knows what happens with China.
Exactly. That's kind of the threat.
We have no idea what they're going to do.
Because in the Korean War, obviously, they backed North Korea. Now I think times have changed a little bit, but you don't really know where their allegiances completely lie. Right. So it's a tough...
Right. But I would say, anyone that was freaking out that we're about to go to war, we're not going to war. If we start seeing... we're not going to preempt the strike. Like, we're not going to
Preemptive
attack
strike.
first. Like,
I
when we
couldn't imagine
when
that.
we
I couldn't
started
picture that.
evacuating people from Guam and evacuating our soldiers, so that then we have an issue. And I think then you might be like, okay, something could happen, but we haven't.
Yeah.
I tend to think that that's, there's kind of stages to what would happen.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't just attack out of the blue.
Yeah.
Unless it was necessary. And
Yeah,
that's
no,
really
I
not
definitely, I tend to
necessary.
think that too, for sure. And just looking at kind of like their technology, right? I watched a
Dude,
video
it's
of them.
so ridiculous, man.
It's weird because like if it's based off of their editing capabilities and like their production value, then they're in the freaking 50s, man. Because I watched a video of them like New York is burning, right? Because of all the propaganda that North Korea does, and it is awful. Like I'm not even that good of an editor at all, and I could edit this thing. Like it is not that impressive at all. Obviously, the vast majority of their money is going into their military expenditures, but still
and feeding Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, but I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's still they basically get rolling blackouts. We know like pretty much all the time. They never have consistent electricity.
Yeah, man, you go on Google Earth, look at them at night. South Korea is all lit up, right? 11th biggest economy in the world, and North Korea is like nothing.
Yeah, and it's honestly they're kind of a joke, and it's bad because it is semi-serious,
It's like you can't underestimate them, but you also don't want to be freaking out over nothing.
There's like, is there something below estimate but over underestimate?
Yeah,
That's
I know,
where they
right?
kind
That's
of
kind
exist.
of where we need to be. But.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just a bizarre thing that exists, I think,
Yeah.
It's like a relic from an old age that they haven't progressed forward. They still are this weird dictator, monastery, like they're weird.
Yeah.
Like, they have crazy brainwashing that they do with their citizens. Like, they literally think, like, everyone's against them, and they will just make up stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember not too long ago, their whole internet leaked. Like, it got their domains got leaked or whatever, so we could access it.
Yeah.
And they have like 42 sites, and that's it on their internet. And they're so bad, dude. Because I went on, it's like, oh, this is interesting. When am I next gonna see a North Korean news website? Holy crap, dude!
Nothing.
Remember the old websites that were just like text. No one knew design. No
Yeah,
one knew
exactly.
any Oh, dude, it was so bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
but
crazy.
I also was hearing that there's been they've been airdropping like iPads and phones and stuff with like the real world stuff in there.
What's going on?
To kind of
to
undermine
wake up the people a little bit.
Right, so we could maybe see an internal uprising.
I would love to see
I think
that.
it'd be hard to start that with how dense it is, But I mean, that's kind of an interesting tactic, is just dropping stuff and be like, here's real news.
North Korean people to actually see what's happening.
See what the real internet is, because I'm sure they've been told this is what the internet is. Like,
because
no one has more.
they've been told to hate the West and America since the Korean War, right?
Yeah.
They were told that the United States started that war.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've been totally indoctrinated.
Dude, like, that's the thing. Like, if we did invade and we had them, like, we would have to reteach them all of history.
Absolutely. And then how does, like, South Korea come in and adopt into that? The last thing I would kind of say on that, like, is a lot of times the media, people are freaking out of, like, Trump's reactionary
he's a little
tendencies.
bit of a hothead.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think militarily, I think he places a lot of trust, and he's delegated a lot of stuff to his generals, and I think he has kind of surrounded himself with people who are pretty intelligent and competent. I mean, if you look at kind of the success that we've recently had in the Middle East with kind of beating back ISIS and stuff like that, I think that the people he surrounded himself with know what they're doing. If he would step out of his own way and not keep talking, I think everything would be a lot smoother.
I agree.
So that's kind of my hope with that. I'm not really freaking out that he's going to do something outrageous because I think he's got the people around him.
I kind of want to go buy some more 5.56.
Yeah,
just in case.
There you go.
Freaking Red Dawn.
Never have too much of that.
Yeah. But on to the next one, man. This got me. This was kind of like upsetting. That I was like, really?
Yeah.
So a recent poll came out that they polled a bunch of just citizens of America, and then like there was like 1,300 Americans. 650 of them were Republican, or at least they said that they leaned right.
Yeah.
And they asked them if would they support postponing the 2020 presidential election if President Donald Trump proposed it as a means to combat voter fraud.
Yeah.
And over half, the majority of them said yes. They would be for postponing the election to combat voter fraud. A lot of them also, well, not like more than I would expecting, actually think the numbers that Trump actually did win the popular vote. Like there's some weird pseudo reality that they're living in that this is a thing, and it really is kind of not upsetting, but it's like, really, guys?
Yeah.
You would like to put our whole process.
Well, this is the problem when you place your values and your principles into a person, right?
Yeah.
Like, people think that Trump is conservative conservatism, or Trump is the right, or Trump is this policy or that policy. So you feel like you have to defend him to the death when he gets attacked, right? But when in reality you don't have to. All you have to defend is your values and your principles. So I think that's something huge that the right specifically is falling into right now, this trap. I mean, the left is lost.
They're lost.
But the right is definitely falling into that, and I think it's a problem when you get to that point. That's crazy, though. Like, could you imagine if if a poll came out and, like, the majority of people would support if President Obama would, like, postpone it? Like, I remember people saying, like, oh, Obama's going to put in martial law.
Dude, I had
not going to be the inauguration. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen.
I had someone tell me when Obama won, they were like, listen, after 8 years, he's going to find a way to stay in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, he literally won't. That will never happen. You do not understand. They're like, no, he will. You mark my words. And I was like, I will. And then when it happened, I was like, what happened? Like, well, I'm sure he tried. It's like, no, like, you gotta.
And that is why
reasonable, man.
We need to shrink the power of the president so that the president doesn't freak you out. No matter what side you're on, whoever's in the Oval Office shouldn't be scaring you that much.
No,
that's a problem.
And not only shrink that, but like the media, like a lot of that was built up. The hatred for Obama was built up by the media and the false birth certificate, the birthing story, which Donald Trump played a big part in. But like that built up the hatred for Obama. Also his Muslim maybe origins or whatever, we don't know. And then Donald Trump, of course, he's been demonized to hell and back from the left media. So it's
nobody
just like,
learns lessons
of course
from the last 8 years. Nobody learned lessons.
And then they complain that that the Republicans are using the same tactics that they were just using, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's the worst thing ever when they're doing it, and they're totally allowed to do it. Like,
it's crazy how
have some integrity, have
lessons.
some intellectual honesty. I just don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy to me. But so the last story that we wanted to get to, we'll jump to it real quick. Because we've gone a little bit long on the other stuff because it's pretty interesting. But a lot of people, obviously, the whole Hillary Clinton Benghazi email scandal thing, people are still pretty upset about that. So a federal judge from the State Department has kind of reissued that her case. Is kind of
there was a lawsuit that was signed, and then because of that they asked, they kind of subpoenaed for more emails in regards to the Clinton Benghazi situation, saying that what they turned over wasn't all of the emails or whatever. And it's kind of I think society's kind of over this story. I think it's still interesting, and I still think Benghazi particularly. I am very upset that she is not held accountable for what happened there.
Absolutely.
And so it's really upsetting to me personally, and I don't think nothing's going to happen.
Nothing will happen.
But
I mean, there's been people from the DOJ saying, like, if it were anyone else, they would be in prison.
Literally, they said,
I wholeheartedly believe that, 100%.
Of course. There's something special with the Clintons that they can get away with anything.
Exactly. But I'm kind of like, at this point, the whole narrative, I feel like everyone's saying, like, Trump is so good because he's not Hillary. And, like, at this point, yes, but he needs to do good things, too. So I would almost like for her, she's irrelevant now. The Clinton Foundation has kind of died out. Their whole power has kind of just ended. And yes, I would like to see her serve justice for what she's done, obviously, but I feel like there's a lot of things to focus on.
And there's other things I think that are more important at this time.
Yeah, and I hate that people just kind of get out scot-free, but then again, if you kind of, I don't know. I'll leave it at that just for the sake of time here. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap up kind of what was nuts this week, and we're going to jump right into the main topic. All right, guys, we are back, and we're going to do a special thing this podcast because we just couldn't resist. So we're going to kind of take out the main topic, and we're going to extend our what triggered us this week. And it's going to encompass a multitude of stories because there is just too much stuff to not talk about that is just insanity.
It's amazing.
So without further ado, this is the What Triggered Us section of the podcast. This is where we replace all logic and rational thinking with only emotion. And let's jump right into it, right? First story of the day.
All right,
let's go.
First story. Okay, so you guys haven't seen it go around. It's kind of making its round around social media.
Yes.
KA Design just launched a campaign to bring back the swastika.
Because people have been asking for this.
Right? This is what we've been missing. This is why America is not together, bro. The swastika has been taken away from its rightful meaning.
They're totally
no.
right.
This is a design group that is wanting to take back the swastika, saying that it was around way before the Nazis kind of took it. It used to mean peace, love, luck, infinity, life, that kind of stuff.
It's a lot of things.
It's a lot of stuff in one symbol.
Yes.
Which is probably why it has all those arms. You know, it has to hold all the things.
A lot of stuff.
No, but so they put out a couple T-shirt designs, which you can see right here, and as you can see, they're very well thought out designs.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't buy one of these?
Exactly,
right?
And as you can probably imagine, there was complete outrage.
Yes.
People freaking out, saying this is so insensitive. I mean, just slapping a rainbow around and saying peace, love, kind of seems lazy, especially for a design firm. And so then they took it back and they're like, hold on, guys, we'll fix it. And then they put out these shirt designs. Literally, I mean, we're not even the office. They literally just put a circle and slash through it. And it's like, nope, just kidding. The swastika's bad again. And then that still wasn't enough. So then they took it down and they put out a statement saying, hatred and Nazis have won. We brought out the worst in people. We believe in a world of infinite forgiveness. We forgive everyone and we hope to be forgiven. Let love prevail. Thank you. We will keep fighting. Doesn't really seem like an apology. Seems more like it's our fault, or people's fault.
Yeah, for being angry about the swastika.
For being angry. Yeah, so what about you? I mean, were you looking forward to buying a swastika shirt to take back the swastika?
I'm very disappointed. I like the second iteration of it a lot. And now I can't buy it, so yeah, now I can't bring it. But so a couple things to unpack here, man. First of all, the swastika being around for 5,000 years, right? I've done a little bit of research on it, and it did predate Nazi Germany.
Swastikas?
Yeah, I know. Google let me.
Okay.
Yeah. It did predate Nazi Germany, and I don't know about all these definitions in here that it had, but it definitely didn't come with the of what the Nazis brought to the swastika. It didn't bring that. So what though? Like, you're not gonna turn around this symbol. I'm sorry.
I think
Even
it's too late.
Even if it did mean that in the past, it has been hijacked by one of the worst regimes that the world has ever seen.
Yes.
Okay, Nazi Germany. So
especially
you're not gonna
so
bring
recently.
It back. Exactly, and it's like 80 years.
People are alive that were
a part of that war to end what this symbol stood for. So you're not gonna bring it back. I'm sorry, and I love it that because they're making Pride T-shirts, right? So I mean, you would imagine that they're on that side anyways, and then they just get attacked, dude. They get attacked by this stupidity, this stupid ad, and oh my god.
I can't. It's just like, oh, I can't believe it. Actually,
who thought like they're all sitting there in a meeting, right? And it's just like, dude.
Swastika.
Bring the swastika back.
See, now, honestly, what I think it was a publicity stunt. I really think that they did not have any real intention to do this. Because
no one knew what K design was, right?
Exactly. Now we do. Now we talk. I mean,
now all of our listeners are going to know about them.
And you're right. They're all going to they want to buy the shirts and the shirts.
Buy it. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, and they actually said, they were like, we don't care if white supremacists buy the shirt because it's our logo and it's still promoting peace. And it's like, is it really bringing it back if a white supremacist or a neo-Nazi buys your shirt because it has a swastika?
Exactly.
Like, are they really promoting what you want them to promote?
And then I love how they blame the people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we brought out the worst in people.
Yeah.
Like, we believe in forgiveness.
We forgive everyone.
Kind of yeah, that's great. Whatever. It's probably not the best idea to put a swastika on a shirt and then sell it. Should it be illegal? Absolutely not. But I'm going to make fun of it like crazy because
is the free
it's
market.
Hilarious.
No
exactly.
one, it's just, I can't, And, like, there's so many, like, there's literally infinite designs. But, like that's what you guys wanted to do. You guys wanted to try to bring back the swastika.
It's genius, man.
Yeah.
It's a genius design choice. And I think, it's just absolutely amazing.
You know what else is amazing?
I do.
Professors here in this wonderful state of Georgia.
And this is sad because I go to the University of Georgia.
Dude,
I'm finishing up my last semester there. Cool. Yeah. But so this is the next story we're getting to. A professor of the University of Georgia, his name is Richard Watson. He put out his syllabus in order to kind of reduce the amount of it's stress reduction policy.
Yes, of his own creation.
Of his own creation,
which I think is pretty evident when you hear what the heck they are.
Let me just say, I've been cheated because I have not experienced any of this at the business school that I've been attending for the past.
And I was stressed in school. I would have really liked to have had some of these
policies. I know, right? Okay, so we're gonna read them off. This is incredible.
My gosh.
So this is in his syllabus, right, for the class. It says, quote, all tests and exams will be open book and open notes, including the use of material on your laptop, right? So Google, you can find it. The next quote is, all tests and exams will be designed to complete in half of the allotted time by the majority of students. So don't worry about the time limit. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be totally fine.
By the majority of students. So it's not going to be hard because the average student, isn't a genius.
No, exactly. The average student will beat it in half the time.
Yeah.
Right. So how long are these tests? Like
Dude,
4 hours?
I'd love to see how fast I can do this test, man.
I mean, seriously. And then it says, so this is one of the best. Quote, all tests and exams will be designed to assess low-level mastery of the course. Why are students paying thousands of dollars to attain low-level mastery?
Why reach for the high bar when you can sit down?
Dude,
you know?
I'm down, man.
Dude,
I'm signing up for this class. Of course, it doesn't end there, though. It goes on. It says, quote, in a group meeting, if you feel stressed by your group's dynamics, you should leave the meeting immediately, and you need to offer no explanation to the group members. Of course, it goes on. It says, furthermore, you can request to discontinue all further group work and your grade will be totally based on non-group work. So in other words, like if you're in a group, right? A lot of stuff is group
a stressful
based.
Group though.
Exactly.
And you don't want to do it, maybe?
Because in the real world, nobody works in groups.
Well, no, in the real world, you just leave it without any reason.
Exactly. You just let them know.
And you still get paid.
And then whatever you put out there is totally fine, right? Like if it doesn't meet the standards, it doesn't matter.
Well, you just lower the standards.
And then you meet them. Absolutely. And then it goes on. It says, quote, only positive comments about presentations will be given in class.
Does
that make you feel warm?
So if you're going to...
You feel warm inside. No one will say anything bad about you. And then it goes on further and it says, comments designed to improve future presentations will be communicated by email. So if there's a little critique of your presentation, don't worry. I'm not going to say it in person in front of other people. It will be emailed. Only you will see it. It will save the embarrassment of any critique.
Which is such bullcrap because a lot of times what's wrong with one person's thing is wrong for a lot of people.
Yeah, so then the other
people
you
get criticism from other people.
Well, it doesn't matter though because your grade doesn't matter because
it
ends with, quote, if you feel unduly stressed by a grade, for any accessible material or the overall course, you can email the instructor indicating what grade you think appropriate, and it will be so changed. So if you think that critique that the professor sent you by an email is wrong, you just let him know. And hold on, the only request is that you wait 24 hours after the grade is submitted. So it's pretty reasonable.
That's pretty reasonable, yeah.
I love this, man. This is great.
Before
we should say that the University of just not trash my own school.
Yeah,
because I'm going to be graduating with a degree here. I'd like
probably not after this. We have a lot of fans. I could tweet at them.
I'd like for it to mean something. So the University of Georgia came out and they said that this professor acted on his own. The syllabus was not approved by their dean and all this kind of stuff. They've walked it back. Of course, the professor's not fired.
He probably has tenure or something.
Because he's tenured, yeah. Piece of crap. I think he should totally be fired. This is garbage.
Dude, this is so lazy.
It's totally lazy, man. And it undermines, like... You're going there. People are working hard to get a degree. The University of Georgia is like, it's a pretty well-known school in the Southeast. You graduate... Yeah, shut up. You graduate with a degree from UGA. It means something, right? It's not graduating from a community college or a smaller school. It's one of the bigger schools in Georgia. It should mean something. It's not going to mean something if the professors come out and say crap like this and hold their students to this kind of standard.
Right, because then it lowers the bar for what the degree means. Essentially nothing. Like, the idea that you're not going to get critiqued, because, I mean, why not? Only positive. Mm-hmm. You can leave a group if you feel stressed, and you could just ask for whatever grade you want.
Yeah.
And he will change it. It doesn't say, well, we'll talk about it. No, it will be so changed.
And that the course is designed to accomplish low-level mastery of the subject matter.
Right?
Like, could you imagine a professor comes out and they're like, all right, guys, this is the course. My goal here is for you to learn the minimum amount possible. Like, we want you to know basically nothing about what we're teaching here.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you don't like anything I say, just email me. We'll get that seed.
Well, don't tell
right
me that you don't like it.
Not in person.
Email me.
Email it to me.
Email it
yeah,
to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is so wrong, and I'm hoping that this is an isolated incident.
Yeah.
Part of me says it's probably maybe this specifically to this degree.
Yeah.
Seems like a special case of
idiocy. Yeah, exactly.
It's just.
It really is, man. When we were kind of hearing about the story first, we watched it from Phil DeFranco.
Yeah.
And I could not help but just laughing out loud because it was just, it's insane,
This
man.
exists, dude.
It's totally insane.
This is a course that people sign up for, and it's like, this is like the stupid home ec course you take in high school. You need one more
man,
class.
and this isn't a core class. Like, he's a teacher of Terry Business College.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bit... I don't even know what to say.
You should have taken him, bro.
I
You should have taken advantage
man.
of him.
I'd be doing fine right now.
Yeah.
And what's great is the students have come out in support of the teacher, right?
Of course.
Because what student wouldn't want to come out and be like, yeah, no, I should be able to change my grade for sure.
Oh my gosh,
it's
dude.
crazy.
And like only positive comments. That really bothers me too. It's like, what are you prepping
can't-
them for? Like,
there's no failure. Nobody will ever say anything
No
bad about what
accountability.
you present.
it's just change it willy-nilly. If you want to, we'll give you an A.
Yeah.
Like-
You're never going to be good at anything if nobody critiques what you do. Unless you're just
They could
smarter
email
than
you.
everyone else in the world, and you're not. I'm sorry, you're not. Yeah, they could email you.
They could
exactly.
email you.
They could let you know by email. Nicely, though.
Yeah.
No offensive.
So,
Nothing
good job,
offensive.
Professor. I'm glad that you're still working there.
Yeah, and I'm glad that this came out before I had to get a degree.
What
there,
was
so.
the thought process to making this?
There wasn't a thought
I don't
process.
think there really was.
Man, I can't wait until the time where people realize that college isn't a necessity. Because right now everyone feels like they have to.
I
go
think
to
we're
college.
starting to go that way. I don't think it's a necessity.
Yeah, I know you don't, but a lot of but
Made
a
that
lot of
very
people
clear.
still like in business, right? They want to see the college diploma,
Man,
and
they want to see these kind of classes.
yeah, exactly. This stuff's important, but like it still means something to an extent, right? It proves that you can focus and study and work through things you don't really want to do.
Or
But
email a professor about a grade.
Exactly. But I seriously can't wait until the time where like people realize that learning a trade, learning skills, getting kind of work experience is almost more important.
Or for certain things.
And it goes back to where you go to college if it's something important. You want to be a doctor or a nurse, you need to learn specific things. You want to go into law, you need to learn specific things.
Right.
You want to learn business, I'm telling you, I learned a lot more business working under, managers at my last job and reading books and stuff than I have here.
Reading books.
I know, crazy, right?
I don't like
but
that.
and so it's really not worth it to that degree,
because
you know
I
what
think
mean?
what college should be for me personally, what I think it should be specialization.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be everyone needs to get some kind of degree. Like they have some ridiculous degrees.
I know.
There's like
we'll
women's
talk about
studies.
one later. A ridiculous degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll save
But
that discussion for later.
I know it's totally crazy. I would
It
love to
should
get
be
back to
if
where,
you want to, and then it also shrinks it, and it becomes more. And the professors that are there have something to actually give, not this guy that has literally nothing to give.
Because if the
students.
standards are lowered and everyone gets a college degree,
It
then it
means
doesn't
nothing.
matter if you have a college degree. Then see, now you're seeing where everyone has to go get a master's because your typical 4-year bachelor's degree almost doesn't mean anything.
Money.
And then more money goes into the school. Yeah.
Yep, lovely.
Garbage.
You know what else is lovely, man?
Yes.
Another
this is
Georgia.
great. Georgia's killing it, by
Dude,
the way.
Georgia-
We got 2 stories in here about
I
Georgia.
think I'm
This is
gonna
my
be moving
home
outta
state.
here.
Yeah, you were here for a while
Yeah,
and you decided,
it's
you
too
know
much.
what? Nah.
Constantly
Yeah,
triggered.
go back to Fort Lauderdale. It's way better.
The EAV Barbell Club in Atlanta is a gym in Atlanta.
Yes.
That posted this lovely little note on their window, I guess, the other day. And needless to say, some people were upset. Some cops were probably upset.
Yes.
So anyway, if you can't see the note reads, do whatever you want correctly except CrossFit cultism, which I kind of liked.
Yeah, totally.
Then he says no effing cops.
It's reasonable.
It's reasonable, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you
who
know?
needs the cops,
Right.
right? I
And
don't do
so,
anything.
I mean, that was a little outrageous. People took pictures and started circling on social media.
Absolutely.
But then the news station interviewed him.
Yes. Well, we
And
got
this-
to hear his wise words of wisdom.
We did, and
We did.
the story, honestly, it just got better. So we got some amazing quotes out of this interview.
We wanted one space that was just a little different. It's not a, aggressive hetero jock space that's dominated by cops and soldiers. It's a place where you're safe from that. And we don't want to make police stronger so that they can hurt people more efficiently. It's not a personal thing. It's you put a uniform on, and quite honestly, I view that as an occupying enemy army when you put that uniform on.
So yeah, putting a uniform is an occupying enemy army.
It is.
If you put a uniform on, that's
Makes
interesting,
sense. Yeah,
right?
absolutely, man.
He
I
didn't
mean-
want to make it an aggressive, jock
No.
heterosexual gym.
Absolutely not.
Dominated by cops and soldiers.
In soldiers, no, you can't have that, right?
Right, and then also the American police, obviously, they just serve capitalism and white supremacy. So
And-
I love the dots he connected,
Dude, and my favorite part was he didn't want to make it that hetero jock place
Yeah.
because he doesn't want cops and soldiers getting stronger so then they can more mismanage and hurt people.
They can
right?
hurt people more efficiently.
Oh my gosh. I
Dude.
want cops to be able to hurt people efficiently because I don't think all the cops out there are like freaking evil people like this guy does.
Dude,
so.
it was insane. And of
It's
course he's allowed to
crazy.
do this, right? I mean, I don't
Sure,
think
yeah.
there's any that I can think of legality. People have looked into it. There's not really anything that he did that was illegal.
Yeah.
The cops have said that, like, if there was some, I mean, all they really said, the Atlanta Police Department, was that if there was a crime in this gym, that the sign wouldn't stop them. They'd still
You mean
walk.
they didn't get outraged and force him to let the
I'm
cops
surprised
in the
that
gym?
cops didn't need safe spaces. Surprisingly, the cops didn't.
Don't need it.
Maybe
Yeah.
if you have a gun, you don't need a
You
safe
don't need a
space.
safe space. Moral of the story. But no,
dude.
I think it's crazy, man. Like,
And he calls himself a community activist. Oh my gosh. It's amazing.
Yeah, man. I mean, just to have this kind of like hatred for him, like I feel like living inside your mind must be so stressful. Like you think everyone's out to get you. I'm sorry that your brain is that screwed up,
dude.
That you're fearful of the people who are sworn to serve and protect. You won't even let them in your gym because you're afraid that they're gonna get jacked and like hurt people more. Come on, man.
But he does let retired military people.
Well, yeah,
as long as they're not active.
He's not totally unreasonable.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that his reason of the outrage was because he says the vulgarity of the sign. The
Right.
fact that it had the F word on it.
If it didn't have the F word, people would have been totally fine
Exactly.
with it.
If it said no frickin' cops,
Yeah, no one would care.
golden. He probably would have went up in membership.
Totally, man, because the people of Georgia just hate the cops, obviously.
Yeah, I know, right? Of Georgia, of all
Georgia,
states
yeah,
that
I mean,
have
a pretty
this.
southern state, despite the past two stories we've talked about. They support the police, okay? So, I mean, it's crazy, man. What'd you look up their site on Google?
Yeah,
What
they
was
have like
their
a
reviews?
1.5 on
Yeah,
Google.
that's great.
Yeah,
Who are the 1.5 people who rate it well? Freaking,
yeah.
If you rate it...
I wouldn't even
anything
take time to
well.
rate it, dude. I just have no desire to go to this gym. It's just funny that it blows my mind that
blows
people
my
like
mind that
this
people out there,
exist.
yeah, dude.
And it's
And
honestly,
own a
it's a
gym.
little scary if when I'm done laughing.
Yeah.
It's a little scary that these type of people exist, and they could make impressions on the next generation, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Because they're not living in reality, which
Yeah.
is a problem a little bit. But
Well,
I don't know
my
what
thing
you
is
do.
like, okay, so does he have the right to discriminate against them? And if he does, then that person who owns the bakery definitely doesn't have to make the cake for the gay couple,
that's
right?
different
Like,
because he's not a Christian, I don't think.
okay, so he's allowed.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't understand
They
until you
didn't put a
explained it
sign
to me.
up that said no
You're right.
effing gays.
You're right. It would have been fine if
It
they
would
did
have been
that.
fine,
Okay,
yes,
sorry.
exactly.
Now I have the complete story. I'm totally fine with it.
We figured it out, dude. We solved it.
Great stuff. But it doesn't end there. It gets progressively worse.
We're gonna cross the pond, the
We're
Pacific
gonna go
pond.
beyond borders.
We're gonna go beyond borders and go
Yes.
down to Australia.
Good old
I
down
would
under.
do an Australian accent if I knew how to do one, but I don't, so I won't. It was a cafe in Melbourne. Put up this lovely sign. I originally saw it because it kind of made headlines because they're actually charging men a 18% tax
Yes.
to give them a sense of what it feels like to be a woman with the gender gap. Because women, as you guys all know, make that much less money. What is it? 7%. Yeah, but I guess in Australia maybe they make a little bit more.
Maybe
yeah,
they make even less on the
maybe,
dollar.
but yeah, men on average they say earn 17.7% more than women for full-time work in Australia. So
and it's just because employers hate women, right?
It
All
is
of them.
exactly, and
Yeah,
so this
okay.
coffee shop,
Yeah.
they're gonna kind of they're gonna make a statement by charging men more. But then after I just saw the headline, I was like, okay, well that's absolutely ridiculous. I hope they go out of business.
Yeah.
But then I looked at the rest of the sign. Women also have priority seating.
Yes, they do.
Right? But then the best one is the bottom one.
Yeah.
Number 3, respect goes both ways. I don't think they read their sign. Holy
Respect
crap.
goes both ways, but don't you dare try and sit down, and you better pay that 18% surcharge because you're a freaking man.
Yep,
Yeah.
both ways,
So
two
respect
genders.
goes both ways, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Women are equal to men, but also men pay more.
Yes.
Makes
No,
sense.
but this is like insane, dude. This is again the delusion people living with. Maybe in Australia they do actually. I'm not up on Australia's politics at
yeah.
all. Maybe they actually do earn a legit 17%. I find it hard to believe. I would think that it's the same kind of thing
If
here.
you take it on the same standard that like the UK and the US have,
Yeah,
it's probably the same thing based on just differences in biology. Like we talked about in the last Google video,
Yes.
right? There's differences there. There's choices that are made. There's work hours that aren't willing to be put in. It's
and
different.
if you look at job to job, it's not 17.7% or whatever they claim. And so
well,
whatever.
hold on, they're getting chipped, bro. They're charging them 18%. Not
0.3%.
17.7. I'm outraged
I'm
now. I would have
outraged.
been fine if it was 17.7.
Yeah.
But now that it's 0.3, It's crazy, dude. And like you said, man, the fact that it says respect goes
Both ways
on the bottom, except not really at all.
I don't understand, dude. Like, they think this is okay. I mean, I guess it's okay. Who cares? I mean, whatever.
I would love to look up. Like, once again, we're not talking about the legality of this.
No,
I don't know about Australia's
stupid.
laws.
I
would
triggered.
think that they have. Yeah, this is our triggered section.
Yeah.
We can do what we want
We
here.
have free reign.
This is part of it. I just think it's crazy, man. And
Yeah.
I would love to see them go completely out of business because.
And could you imagine if they did it the other way around? Like, if they charged women more for being women?
Oh my gosh.
Would never work. That'd be outrage.
Would never happen.
Nope.
And you know what's crazy though? Like women have priority seating. Like feminists hate the whole fact that like women need to be treated different. Like men open doors for women and all this kind of stuff. But it goes back to women should have priority seating. So if you just let men be chivalrous,
yeah.
they would kind of do that
They
on
would
their
get
own.
priority
Yeah, so
seating.
you go in and you walk in and you like pull out the chair for the woman and she's like, "No, I'm offended. You shouldn't pull that out for me. We're equal." And you're like, "Okay, then I'll sit down." It's like, "No, I have priority seating over you. I can't win. What do I do?"
Dude, it's so quick to just put these in the real world and they just fall apart.
I
these
know.
ideas.
Well, because it defies all logic and
It does.
reason. It
And
totally
reality.
does. And reality. And that is why it's in our What Triggered Us
Yes.
this week.
Awesome. Yep.
But it's not there. We have one last final story to hit you with this. And this is crazy. So there's a college on, I think it's Oregon State. Yeah, Oregon State University. So they come out and they have this course that's going to be available in spring of 2018.
Oh, that's amazing.
I love this. It's called Fat Studies. So I feel like that should offend some people, right? The people like, wouldn't that? I don't know. I feel like that should offend the people who are hyper offended by everything.
Well,
Anyways,
fat shaming.
It's called Fat Studies. Yeah, it's basically all about fat shaming. But basically, the course will examine, quote, body weight, shape, and size as an area of human difference subject to privilege and discrimination that intersects with other systems of oppression based on gender, race, class, age, sexual orientation, and ability. And so, of course, the class professor is Patty Louie Watkins. Watkins. I like whack better. It's a little whack than that. Anyways, she claims that her aims of the course is to convey to students that fat oppression is just another cog on larger oppression.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
So fat
Shaming
oppression
is
real, man. Get it on.
So we're making them fat? Like so we made them be fat, and now we're oppressing them because
exactly.
they're fat.
As Dwight would say, he didn't force Stanley to feed himself with butter and diabetes.
I didn't fill him up with
time, right? But no, totally.
Dang,
I mean, this is a
dude.
whole course. Like, you can take this in college.
Oh my gosh.
You can. In what degree? Like, is this an elective that gets you a business degree? I don't know. Like, what is this for?
Is extra credit eating a whole cake or something?
Yeah, dude. I mean, sign me up. Actually, no. But I mean, come on. This is crazy,
this is insane,
man.
dude.
And
I don't. That's another weird thing to me. This idea that it's okay to be fat, or not that maybe that it's not okay, but that it's bad to
people
tell them
should
that it's
celebrate
unhealthy.
it, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You can
Like,
understand
if
it's not healthy to be overweight.
Absolutely. Like, when did it become like a whole thing where people? I don't know anyone who is like, oh, that person's fat, I'm gonna go shame them. No one does that unless they're a total
it's
piece of
probably
garbage.
systemic and we don't know. And
Exactly.
You can't really point it out
through
because it doesn't
bias,
exist.
right? Yeah, whatever. It's fatsism.
Yeah, honestly, like when I see someone bigger at the gym or whatever, I'm just like, I feel good.
Dude, like,
I'm like,
if they're
heck
in
yes.
there, yeah, dude,
But it makes me feel better.
absolutely.
Like if they're willing to put the work in,
Dude,
like
kid you not. There's this guy who's been going to my gym for like 8 months now. He's probably lost like at least 70 pounds.
That's awesome.
Because I've been consciously like watching him, like, dude, he's
just
killing
like in
it.
the corner.
That's awesome. Like, I'll be doing my sets and I'll be inspired by this guy who comes in every day and he looks better each time he does it. So this thing where you're like supposed to celebrate people for being fat and being unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're fat, that's fine. That's your choice. You can eat whatever you want. But I'm sorry, it's not healthy for you.
And don't tell me it's healthy.
It's not. Yeah. And don't expect people to, celebrate you being out of shape and celebrate you being unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, not to bring.
It's a fine line too, because it is true. Like if you are fat or whatever, it's your choice, and it's like it's not our place to tell you that you're making a bad decision. Like, whatever, live your life, but
absolutely,
it's not. You can't tell us it's not unhealthy. Like it is. It's one of the leading causes 100%
of deaths
unhealthy
in
America.
Obesity kills like more people than anything in the United States.
Yeah, it's so much, and I don't understand like this idea, and I love how they're like the left and this idea of progressivism and oppression that don't exist. Like, like that is they're so into like the science of it, yet they disregard all science.
The
about
science
this.
of that, right?
Like
the party of science with some things, but not others.
Yeah.
It's totally crazy,
dude. It's
man.
insane.
And like I agree that you can go out and do whatever you want, but if we continue to move towards this single-payer healthcare system and the healthy have to subsidize those people,
there won't be any healthy to subsidize.
It's substantially more to provide health insurance for someone who is obese than it is for someone who's not. And I don't want to pay for that, man.
You should be encouraging people to get outside.
Exactly,
be
to
physical,
be healthy.
Eat better. Don't fill yourself up with sugar and stuff.
Yeah, and it's not like condemning people who have this problem and who are overweight and eating and stuff like that.
And if they
but it should be encouraging.
Right, but if you do, if people do, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And I would say something that's horrible.
If you're sitting there making fun of someone
exactly
who's fat,
just to make fun of them, or if you walk up to them and tell them they're a horrible person because they're fat, no,
absolutely,
it's none of your business, and don't be a
don't be a jerk about it. Just come on. But if they go to the doctor and the doctor's like, hey, you need to lose some weight. For these reasons.
Or if they read something and they're triggered because it says, hey, maybe you should be 30 pounds overweight or whatever. It's
it's complete. Dude, common sense has completely packed up its bags and left a while ago. And it's crazy to me, man. I don't understand it. And like we said, it's not a bad thing to not want to have to pay for these people if they go on these more expensive plans and stuff like that. And it kind of goes to the whole empathy thing, to kind of talk about it. Blind empathy that I read about, right? If you're so blind to empathy that you think that it's hurtful for you to tell someone truths that will help them in the long run, I'm not saying approach someone who's overweight and tell them they're terrible, but if they're consulting you or you're talking to them about something, don't feel bad about maybe expressing some ways that you've gained progress in being a healthier individual, because that's a good thing. That's something that everyone should be promoting.
Right.
And I mean, I think that it's kind of this is the first college I've seen it. I don't think it's something that's huge or anything like that.
I mean, fat studies does sound like a huge subject.
Like it's a pretty big subject. But hopefully it's something that won't kind of grow and stuff like that. But once again, we've seen it so many times. Once you start on a slope, it tends to just continue going down the slope.
Sorry. All right. I guess we're not even going to jump in the other systems of oppression based on gender, race, class, age, sexual orientation. No.
Yeah, whatever that has to do with anything.
I'm not interested. Yeah. We'll get a fat studies degree. We'll make sure to email the professor to give us an A.
To get a better grade.
But then after we get the A, we can go work out at the gym without cops.
Yeah, because you don't want to be
with our swastika shirts.
We have you covered, people. You hit them all.
Yep. We can get coffee afterwards in Australia.
Yeah, you can get coffee afterwards and pay extra as a woman. Yeah, if you're a man, don't even bother showing up.
I won't have the money.
Yeah, you won't have the money, dude, and they probably don't have the seating for all the people who are coming in, right?
Very true.
Oh, all right, guys.
Dude, that felt so good to get off my chest.
It did feel good. That was fun.
Right? It was great. Fun. Yeah, we did this because we had all these stories, and we were like, we have to.
We're looking at main topics, and we were like, well, we might as well cover all the serious stuff in the news section because that stuff's important. And then reading through all these stories and the crazy stuff that's going on, sometimes you have to laugh because you don't want to kind of slowly freak out inside, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of have to make fun of it because you don't want to be like, holy crap, society's going down a tube, people are insane. So anyways, we threw that out there, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure and comment below and tell us what you think about all of these stories. We want to hear it all. We want to hear about the swastikas. We want to hear about the gym. We want to hear about the college. We want to hear about the coffee, the fat shaming, everything. Comment below. Tell us what you think.
Maybe North Korea, too.
Maybe North Korea. Yeah, well, I mean, you talk about some important stuff, I guess. But yeah, guys, comment below. We really appreciate you guys watching these videos and stuff. It means a lot to us. If you like this video, please like it. Subscribe to our channel. And until always, guys, be sure and join us again next Friday. Always remember, stay informed.